Dear Heavenly Father, we ask that you watch over us tonight as we do the district's business and as we make decisions that we feel are best for everyone within the district. Lord, we ask that you watch over our country, and Lord, especially watch over all of our children and their safety. With everything that's happening in the world, we want our district to be a beacon of safety, and we ask that you intercede on our behalf. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, all right, guys, we got our first report back, and the number was outstanding. We got a 98 out of 100, and so we go through and try to figure out which question we missed, and it's on question 12, so we'll just kind of look at question 12. It's talking about the assessed property value, it's your ratio. And so on the computer, I'm going to pull up the numbers that it has for us. We have a, let's see, total local and intermediate sources is 685,000 and some change. Total revenue was 697, right at 700,000. And then long-term liabilities was 9,235,000 and some change. So the very bottom number that we had, we got 194 million. So basically all the numbers at the top, the formula they put in, they divide that by the 194, and it comes out to 4.66. Well, 4.66 on our scale puts us getting 8 points instead of 10. So when I called Region 6, I said, okay, tell me how we change this. And they said, basically, that's a way to keep you from getting 100. Well, I really wasn't satisfied with that answer. So we've done some more digging, and we called TEA, and they said, well, when you divide this out, they want me through the formula, what I just talked to you about. And they said, that's what you got. So Ms. Tim was out on Friday, and so today she was doing some research for me and finding out our numbers. Well, she came back to me with an email trail that's been sent to our auditors, and actually the 194 is way too low. So in other words, we went from 288 to 357 million in value. So that's going to compress that number to a smaller number, which means we're going to get our 2 points. Now, what Ms. Tim didn't realize is that the auditors said that our CAD got it wrong, and so they're in the process of getting that changed for us. So this will be amended when our new audit is submitted. They will also take care of that at the same time. So we actually should come back with 100 on this one.
Okay.
So it's a lot better news than I was given the very first time I heard this. But we meet all of our goals, and you know, when you make 100 on your financial report, guys, that's just telling that your people at your district are doing an outstanding job. So there's nothing to correct on that. Even at 98, it's hard to correct a 98. Now, if you're going to ask me about all the formulas, I'm not going to be able to explain other than that one.
Does any board member of the community have any questions?
We'll just say our district is very financially responsible. I'd like to say that. Thanks to Ms. Tim, Joe Bacha, they do an outstanding job for us. Ms. Pixley, she's also in there. And Region 6, I guess we throw him in there too.
There's no discussion. We'll adjourn from the public hearing.
Need a motion?
Yes, ma'am.
So moved.
A second. Made a motion and a second to adjourn from the public hearing portion for the first report. Those in favor, raise your hand. That motion carries 7-0. Move to the regular session. And did anybody sign up to speak? I don't have a list. If you did, raise your hand. Okay. Nobody signed up to speak. We'll move to item number.
No, she's saying no. She's saying no. There.
Three.
So now we'll go to 4.
Yeah, item number 4, consideration of the consent agenda. I don't think anybody had any questions there. Anybody want to remove anything to be considered separately?
Thank you for adding those new reports in there.
Entertain a motion if there were nothing, no member requested to remove anything.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Any further conversation? Those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries on the consent agenda 7-0. I'll move to campus and administrative reports.
I have a printout of the board goals for beginning of the year, so I'm going to do kind of what's going on our campus, and then I'll pass those out to you guys to go over them. September 27th, we have Parent-Teacher Conference Day, and October 15th, so we had the Childhood Cancer Awareness fundraiser that we did to for the charity for Brazos Valley Ronald McDonald House, and they came on October 15th to pick up all the donations that we had for their Happy Wheels cart for the hospitals. And they were so blown away. They said that's the biggest donation they've had from any one place, so as far as items. So they were very, very blown away. October 25th through the 29th is going to be our Red Ribbon Week. So we have some activities as far as Halloween safety and things like that coming up for our kids. October 29th is our Fall Carnival. It's going to be held in the elementary parking lot area. And then the silent auction items will be right there inside the gym hallway. November 11th, we have elementary academic UIL writing at Iola. So each district that's participating holds their writing event at their own campus. We are not hosting this year. I think we did the last 2 years. Woo, thank goodness we're not hosting this year. December 2nd and December 2nd, UIL will be going to Burton, and December 6th will be going to Normandy. All right. So here are the board goals that we have front and back. Now, it came out kind of small in the printout, so I can read it. And this is where we stand currently. And at the next update that we have for your board goals, I'll be sure to have it in the packet so you can look at it ahead of time. That way you can just talk about any questions you might have. So the first page is our goal 1 on progress monitoring, and that has to do with the big goal is monitoring third grade reading scores. Our goal by this summer is 78%, and right now our K through 2 students for nonsense word fluency are sitting right at 78%, right at our goal. For those reading on level, our goal was 85% by the summer, and we're sitting at 87%. Then as far as pre-K readiness, right now our goal is by June is 95%, so right now we're sitting at 50%. So pre-K does lots of growing, so Ms. Wheaton's been working really hard with those kids. We expect to see lots of growth there. And then just some campus updates. I have the composite scores for the M-class assessment, which assesses all of those reading skills at the beginning of the year. And they're sitting right there. And as far as our update on our yearly goals, so this, at the beginning, we did not have what TEA gave us last year, which was that beginning of the year assessment that third grade did because they didn't take the STAR test. But they don't have it for us right now. They will have a TEA benchmark that's coming up in the next couple months that everyone will do. But, so what I used here, and I can always take it off later, but what I used here was some data from our exact path, which measures the TEKS, kind of gives the kids, gives the teachers some really good information about which TEKS the kids are lacking and where their gaps are. And so for meets and above, for third grade reading, our goal at the end of the year is 53% on STAR, and from exact path, we're sitting at 63%. So we'll see kind of how these results compare to those TEA benchmarks that we do. And the second page would be our big goal of monitoring third grade math. And so here we have algebraic reasoning for K through 2, which is one of our lowest TEKS that they do. And our goal by the end of the year is 77%, and we're sitting at 76%. Our goal for numbers and operations, which is another one of our lower standards, our goal by the end of the year is 60%, we're at 75%. And then for pre-K math skills, our goal at the end of the year is 95%, and we're sitting at 75%. And so then for math for third grade, on the overall yearly goal, I did the same thing. I used exact path math, and so we want 75% meets, and we're at 76%. So again, I'll check and see how exact path projections compare to what TEA gives us. So overall, we're on track with the goals that y'all have.
All right, I know every week or every month I get told to hurry up. So there's a lot of stuff that I want to just kind of make sure you guys know about. A lot of great things. I do want to congratulate our homecoming king and queen. That was Amora Cooper and Clay Stafford. Band is coming up. They've got a lot of stuff, kind of their regional competitions. All region will be October 20th. Their performance starts at 1:30, so they'll be traveling to that. That's a Wednesday, October 20th. They're actually getting an oboist for their competition. I guess that is a big deal. We're very excited about that. And then they are already planning for their Christmas concert. So he's got a big, new thing coming out that he's really excited about. So band's got a lot of great things going. They're doing a lot of good things over there. Booster Club's been doing great, getting them what they need. So the band's doing excellent this year. Athletics, volleyball's doing amazing this year. Junior high, the 3 junior high teams are undefeated, and then the one team, its 8th grade B team, only has 1 loss. So, the future is very bright with that junior high team. JV, they're doing excellent too. They haven't had as many competitions, but they've done a great job. They're in 2nd place in their district. And then varsity is obviously winning district right now. But don't say that too loud because Miss gets mad. But they are 33-7 right now. So they're doing a phenomenal job. They play Calvert tomorrow, and then they have Centerville on Friday. And then Centerville is our senior night for girls, and then also for football, senior night on Friday as well. I do want to highlight that Jenna McDougal in the last game got her 500th kill, so she's doing an incredible job. She told me today she's up to 518, so she's doing a great job. Miss Lindsay Gooch is doing fantastic in cross country. This is our first year to have cross country. She's won every single meet. She got first in district, and she's moving on to regional, which is October 25th, next Wednesday, I believe. So they're going to that. Also, Katula Shive won cross country in JV, the JV division. So they're doing a great job there. Football, junior high boys have had a really good season. They were 5-1. They're 4-0 in district. So that junior high group, there's so many numbers. They just have so many kids. And a lot of athletes in there. So JV, they've only had 1 game that they were able to play, but they beat Thorndale. So when you put our kids that are 10th and 11th or 11th, 9th and 10th grade, you put those kids up against kids their own age that are doing really, really good. We've got a lot of those kids playing varsity right now, so they're trying their hardest, but they're learning a lot and they're growing a lot. So football varsity wise, they're doing the best that they can, and they're really kind of growing a lot. So we're really proud of those boys. They're 2-5 right now varsity overall, but 2-2 in district. So we still got a chance right now. We play Milano on Friday, which is also here, and it's senior night. Cross country for boys, Connor Evans and Matthew Parra, I believe, qualified for regionals as well. So they will go on that trip to regionals next Wednesday, the 25th. So outside of athletics, we had good news. We had the PSAT this last week and SAT. Our PSAT, we had 41 students this year, so that's really good. Last year we only had 26. And then this year we had 5 students take the SAT versus 4 that we had last year. So that's been helping us, and that's what I'll talk about on our goal here. It's been beneficial for us paying for those tests. Just a couple announcements. Open house will be Monday the 25th. Is that right?
Yeah, 25th is Monday.
Okay, I'm sorry. Track
I
meet.
don't know what
I
is
think
the track meet
October-
on Wednesday, or is it track meet on?
I want to say the track meet's on Wednesday.
Monday.
Is it on Monday? Okay.
Okay.
Then maybe I'm wrong. Sorry. Yes. So the track meet is cross country is on Monday, the 25th. Open house is Monday the 25th from 5:30 to 6:30. It's just high school. We've already kind of done the junior high one. We will start benchmarking for our STAR and EOC test the end of October and beginning of November, so we can start getting an idea of where we sit and with our testing. Another big news thing, we started cross country this year. We also started robotics. They have a demo day this coming Saturday the 23rd, and then we have our first meet in Friendswood October 30th. So the next Saturday we have our first robotics competition. It's the best BEST, it's a certain type of robotics competition, but they'll be entering that one. Volleyball playoff store, also don't tell Miss, but that is open now. She gets very superstitious, so that is open for people to start buying their playoff stuff. 8th grade career fair, this is one of the things we're trying to start with our CTE stuff, getting that started as early as possible. Our 8th grade career fair will be at the Brazos Expo Center on October 20th. So they're taking the whole 8th grade out there, so trying to get those kids started early. And then last but not least, Student Council Blood Drive will be Wednesday the 27th. Okay, so the 27th, Wednesday the 27th, they'll be coming out for the Studco. We are out of empty rooms this year, so they're going to bring one of those mobile vampire vans or whatever they call that. Anyway, that's all the school announcements. We got a lot of great things. I know I'm trying not to bog you guys down. It's probably not what she wants me to call it. So I do apologize. I was not here to give this presentation last board meeting. I was in quarantine. So, but everybody's all right. No one really had any symptoms. Everybody fared well. So, this is our board goal 3. The first one is our industry-based certifications. We've spent a lot of time in this last year really trying to find ways to get those industry-based certifications, getting some of our students certified and stuff as they graduate. Right now, as it sits, we are at 6%. So our goal is to get 15%. So we're at 6% at the beginning of the year. Our goal is 15% by June. Numbers-wise, that means we just have to get 4 to 5 students certified. And we've got Ferg working on the OSHA 30-hour certification. We had a lot of kids doing that last year. We're working on the Microsoft Office Specialist in Word. So we're working on a bunch of different options for kids to get certified. I know that we're talking about doing the floral design if it's possible. So different things that we can do that will get those industry certifications. Because that's a big thing for us, and we can do that. The next goal is the TSI certification. This does not include the SAT that we just took. So this is just our stuff that kids have completed going from last year to this year. We're already at 39% meeting that goal. I'm quite confident after our SATs and stuff we will get up above that 42%. But I believe that that's something that with the change that we made in how we're doing the TSI, we're doing the TSI right after Algebra 2, right after they're doing math, so that that math is still kind of in their brain. The way we've been doing it, or the way it's been done, is we test them, their senior year. They haven't been in math for a while. So that's one of those things. If you don't use it, you lose it. So we're really kind of trying to hit the math TSI earlier. And the way the criteria works for TSI, you can get it for math and reading if you take the SAT, and math and reading for the ACT, or math and reading for the TSI test. So there's 3 ways to meet that goal. So us providing the SAT for our students has been very beneficial. We've had a lot of students taking that test. So as you see down here, we're well on our way to our goal. I think that we'll do very well, especially when our math, the TSI part of our math comes in at the end of the year. So if you guys have any questions, please let me know.
All right, thanks, sir. All right, so on my report, just going to give you a couple updates on a few things. We were running 45 kindergartners, which puts us one over. We did have one kid move, so we're at 44, but it wasn't in the 23 class, it was in the 22 class. So we have one class with 23 and one with 21. So instead of creating too much havoc, we just filed a waiver, because the state just says if you file a waiver, you're just acknowledging that you're over the limit. We're only over the limit by 1. And so they said we could do that, even though we had the correct amount of students divided by 2 teachers to have. So we did file that just for convenience without having to shift some kid around and disrupt their life after 6 weeks of kindergarten in their classroom. I did send out the survey. That was one of the board goals that y'all had set up last year, and I do believe the date we sent out was the 27th, and we shut it down on October the 6th. Three things that, when you read through the survey, and I let the principals look at it, we went through it one day after we got it back from Region 6. And by the way, very anonymous because it went to Region 6. We didn't divide it out by campus. We just got all the comments and we went through it. And so I went through it and I kind of made just a couple of notes of what I recognized. First one is we have some extremely negative thoughts about different campuses. More so, I guess, at the elementary than at the high school, but we had some negative things that are going like that. So I visited with Ms. Sajewski. We're going to try to get some things going that will help get a positive manner. One of the negatives was the communication level, and so I think she's moving. She has meetings now once a week, staff meetings. I think they're meeting on conference times if they need to.
Once a month.
Once a month,
And
I'm sorry.
Ms. Pessel doing like a, almost like a check-in, like a well check kind of thing, where just taking the temperature of everybody, seeing what they need.
Okay. So anyway, that's to help on the communication end, because that was kind of the negative that we got out of that one. The second thing that showed up was our professional development was not meeting anybody's needs. And so we've kind of kicked around a little bit of the idea. We're going to flip it around where maybe our teachers at the beginning of school next year, so this is kind of in the future. The first 2 days of staff development will be working your room days. Because teachers come in and they're thinking, I need to get my room set, I need to have everything ready to go. They're not locked into whatever you're trying to teach them. So I thought, okay, let's flip it around. Let's let them get their room set. Then we'll poll them, find out what they want to do, what they need. And I would love for our own people to train our people. And so if we could do something like that, those are some of the options we're going to look at, but that's 9 months away. So we're gonna improve that, but those are just some of the ideas that we came up with to begin with. The third thing that came out was communication or lack of. And so we're really going to try to hit that, try to be more open out front where people know what's going on. And that's some of the things that came out of the survey. And I know y'all got them, if y'all read all the comments, we've read them a couple of times. Some very positive things came out of some of the comments. Some negative things that really stood out. And we're going to really try to correct the negative things. We don't want to just take the survey, get it, and say, okay, we appreciate the survey and slide it over the side. We actually want to do some things. One of Mr. Fowler's idea was to have the sonic ice. And so I asked, what does a sonic ice machine cost? Let's just get our own. That way we don't have to worry about going to Sonic to get it. Let's just manufacture our own. You know, and if that's what it takes, let's do some small things that make people happy. And so we asked, you know, after he told me that, I asked Mr. Jusky, I got your people on a machine, because I don't want to get a huge one, a big commercial one, but we want enough where everybody can get their ice, and we can use it for other things. But if that's what it takes to make people happy, that's pretty easy. And so that's one of the things that came out of the meeting. I thought it was a great thing. I mean, they thought it was great. So
We have one at our office and everybody loves it.
see, okay.
Yeah, and it's not a giant.
So
It's just a
along with
small-
that, our dental costs are going to go up because everybody's getting ice. So just get ready for that part.
Well, it's nice soft.
Yeah.
Oh, Casco, they work pretty good. I just,
But that was something that we can do, and you know, like I said, that makes people happy. That's an easy deal. All right, so let's talk about last Thursday. We had the active shooter. So today we had our meeting. We kind of debriefed, kind of went through that whole scenario, and so our committee, it's not made up of teachers just yet. I didn't realize we had that till I met with Ms. Roberts on Friday. I'd already kind of scheduled this meeting, but we have Mr. Callahan, Mr. Jordan, Mr. Fowler, Ms. Harris, Ms. Ajewski, Ms. Pestle, Ms. Hurst, myself, Officer Freud. I believe that was who was there today. Martha was going to come, Martha Smith, but she was not able to make it. So we kind of went through the whole plan, what went well, what was bad, and I tell you the best thing was, so the scenario is this. I'm in the ag shop talking to Mr. Ferguson about the wood floor that we're trying to get rid of. I get the call from Officer Freud saying, lock it down. So that's the first time I hit this button. So what the button does is when you hit that active button, now it is locating me and the active shooter. So it goes out that it is the ag shop, which is not true, but in a bad situation, it could be true. So there are rumors that went out that it was an actual shooter in the ag shop. Well, that's not correct, because I was the one who hit the button, and that's my location at that time. So anyway, so when I hit the button, I'm headed straight to the high school, then I go to the elementary. So when I get to the elementary, which is about 3 to 4 minutes after that, we are almost completely out of the hall. We had one lock that wouldn't work. We got them in. We had to combine them into one classroom. But we had everybody locked down within 3 to 4 minutes of me hitting that button. And I thought, man, that is fantastic. They did an outstanding job. Then the things that happened were we didn't get any communication from the Grimes County Sheriff. So there's a little bit of lag between us getting information because Officer Freud was off. He was in Belleville driving this way at a high rate of speed. He's talking to me on the phone, and I can barely hear him because he's going so fast you can hear his tires. I mean, he was going well over 100, guys. I can just tell you, I've heard the sound before. It's a lot. But in that situation, he's trying to give me information, but he's not getting any other than us lock it down. So from the time I hit the button till we sent out the first message, it was like 14 minutes, which I thought was pretty quick. That it wasn't actually a person around our campus. They were actually off our campus. So that made me feel pretty good. So that's when we backed off and kind of went into, we didn't want to call it a soft lockdown, but I think we called it a precautionary lockdown. We weren't moving, we're staying in place because we still don't know exactly where the person is. Police haven't released us. Well, anyway, through all that time, then that's when the communication started going out to parents. Y'all got I sent y'all that stuff. So that was kind of our timeline. But what we found is when we held these kids, especially our little guys, in these classrooms, and they're not able to move, not go to the bathroom, we had a couple of accidents. So that was one of the things that we really addressed in our meeting today. What do we need to put in these classrooms? And so I found out through Ms. Roberts that they make a 5-gallon bucket basically with a toilet seat on it, and we're going to look at those. And you buy like a kit. It's got kitty litter in it. Ms. Hurst wanted to use these pop-up tents that it's closed on 3 sides, so you can turn the tent to the wall so the kids can have some privacy. We know we need to put water in there, and I'm going to get a hold of Mike McDougal with Mid-South and see if they'll donate a case for every room to put in there. And we're going to need some snacks because if a kid's diabetic, we've got to get some sugar in them, those kind of things. So we got to really look out for those guys. But on that situation, those are the things that we really found that we've got to have in our rooms. And that's what came out. We had some really good conversations about how to handle things and how people responded. But I will tell you this, Addie Mae Fairbanks did a superb job on her campus of getting it locked down. It was less than 15 seconds from the time that she got the call that she had things locked and cut down, and that's fantastic. So, you know, we had some really, really good things. We had a couple mistakes that we made. We took the word of a couple officers that the buildings were clear, and they didn't go into every room. And so we had 2 teachers that weren't cleared. Now, they were still secured, but they weren't cleared to come out, or they weren't told they were cleared to come out. And so we will make sure that we have checklists to get caught up on that. So, you know, we did make a couple mistakes, but those are things that we erred on the caution side. So, you know, if we had to make an error, that was a great way to do it. All right. All right, so my number 4, we're going to need to have a facility study workshop. I've met, Mr. Gooch has met, Ms. Harvey's met with Steve Risser. He's kind of given us an initial, he's kind of put some things together for us. We would like to meet October the 29th at 8:30 in the morning if y'all could make that. These guys, they work during the day. We'll have Lucas Janda.
I'm not sure.
We'll call it Janda. I think it's actually Janda.
And the reason we selected that time was because he was already scheduled to be here that day,
He was going to be here at like 10:30.
and Steve could make that day.
And so if y'all could make that, look at options for different things that we want. We'll throw out some stuff. Y'all get to go look at it, kind of see what you think before this goes out to the community for their input. So we want to do it in a process. So if y'all could make that day, that would be great.
How long do you think that would last?
I'd like to be done by 10, because it's 8:30, probably an hour to an hour and a half.
And I think you're meeting with Lucas was scheduled for 10.
10. I really need to meet with him at 10 because he's got other things he's got to do. So if y'all could swing that, that would be great. He'll have some cost for us, and then Lucas will have the numbers run. He's gonna run numbers of what it's gonna cost, you know, and a lot of this tax value is gonna be coming from the solar farms now. And that's gonna bring me to my last point is, we got the agreement submitted to the commissioner this past week, and so now we're looking for is the okay back from them. Now, if something changes, we may have to have a board meeting if it changes, but right now, we're in good shape. We've got there, you know, 60 days in front. Looks like it's gonna be a priority, so that's gonna help us. Y'all have any questions about anything that's going on?
I actually have a question.
Okay.
So, and I applaud y'all for everything that y'all did. I can't imagine what it's like to be in y'all's shoes and getting those and having to decide to hit the button and all the kids and everything else. So thank y'all very much for all of y'all's leadership. Just one question that I have, and I guess it's more for elementary. Those kids that have phones, you know, that are reaching out to their parents, is there any type of guidance that we give them? Or, I mean, and I realize that it might not make sense when you're trying to get kids and but any kind of reassuring message or anything that we can suggest to kids if they're going to reach out to their parents? Because that was the call that I got, was from an elementary student that has a phone, reaching out to the parents. Of course, the parents are calling the school. Of course, the school's not answering. 'Cause
We're locked down.
Exactly, and you're trying to make sure everybody's safe, so I completely understand that. But then just the time, and now listening to you and the timeline makes a lot of sense. And again, when we're relying on, you know, outside information, you know, needing, you know, Grimes County Sheriff's Office to give us that information, we can't control when that comes in. So, I mean, I completely understand all that. But just in terms of the kids and what they share with their parents, because they're scared, you know, it's happened the second time in a year. You know, is there anything that we can do about that? Is
So,
there anything that
Let me answer the question, because we talked about that today, a little bit about, not necessarily the contact, but we would encourage those kids to contact their parents and let them know that they are okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we don't want to say don't call, because
Absolutely.
that's, no information is the worst information. But if a kid is saying, hey, I'm okay, that's great, but our officer wanted to do like, say, okay, 5 at a time, if you have phones, that way we don't just crash the system all at one time. You know, just to give them the update that says, hey, we're okay.
So what happens, I mean, the question is, what are they doing? What are the students? Are they talking to their parents while we're in the lockdown, or?
Y'all are a couple of teachers, what did y'all have?
I do not, my kids don't have phones.
No, mine are first graders, I don't.
Our kids were
do know,
texting.
I
Well,
know a
talking
lot
about
of the
them.
kids, they didn't have their cell phones because they can't have them in class, but they had their iWatches. So they were texting and sending messages on their watches to parents. So I do know that, but in the lower grades, we did not have them because we were in a little bitty closet.
Right.
For-
And we're gonna talk about that, I think Ms. Sajussi is gonna address that, yeah. Yeah, that was a tough deal to be in that closet for that long a time.
Our kids are encouraged to have their phones and to communicate with their parents.
As far as monitoring,
While they're in the classroom
Just
and a
while they're
lockdown?
not-
as long as they're on silent,
Yeah, as long.
no lights going off, that kind of
That
stuff.
would be my concern, and if there is a person, you know, you can hear the phone and all that, you know.
Yes, sir.
But it wasn't too long that we went to the precautionary. So at that point, it's not as tight, we're still not moving, but we know that the threat is not immediate. Otherwise, we'd have stayed where we were.
But that is a thought, like you said, you don't know how long that timeline is going to be.
That's correct.
And if the shooter, intruder, whatever, can hear those phones, that's not good.
It alerts them, you know, where they can go. I go back to the, you know, back when Luby's in Belton, because I was from Killeen, that happened, and something made that guy go off when he heard a phone or something like that. So that's why that brought my attention right there.
Yes, sir.
Do the teachers have a checklist of things that, you know, make sure all the kids' phones are on silent? You
So
know,
we have in our
Protocol book.
protocol, I love you guys, political book thing that we go over, it does state all the different things. When you go into like lockdown, it'll kind of state all of that correctly.
You almost have to practice that.
And that's one
We've
of
done
the
it
things
twice
we do.
now.
Yeah,
We
we
did
do
practice. We don't want to have a third.
And I mean, I know
When
it's
we
a
did
mock,
practice
but,
that,
you know.
yeah.
This,
When we actually practiced that, we did tell them that you're allowed to get your phone, communicate with your parent, but make sure your phone's on silent.
Substitutes. Are, what is happening with the training that they're getting for this situation? It sounds like the teachers are, have their books, know what they're supposed to do.
So our teachers, we kind of had this at our last faculty meeting, kind of addressed the matter of making sure that you read what the sub is supposed to do in the event of. The training that we were trying to do at the beginning of the year is supposed to kind of incorporate some of that and to know how to do that, so.
We did at the beginning of the year, we did our sub training, before school started. We showed them all the books that are in every room, and we showed them the card, the emergency card, that's on the wall, and where they can find it, it's listed out specifically, so we went over that.
One thing we have done for subs, since they don't have keys, Mr. Jordan has ordered these magnets that go over the latch, so the door could be open or it could be closed, but it's not locked. In case of emergency, they just reach and pull the magnet off and it locks the door. So that is one thing that we know that the subs will benefit from, and our teachers will too. But that was one of the things, he's already ordered those and we've got those coming in. I will tell you this though, guys, that was the worst button I've ever pushed in my life. Because when I pushed it the first time, I'd never done it. And there's a clock that spins, it's got to go, it has to make a full circle before it actually goes through, so I had to do it twice. Because I thought you just push it and it was done. It's not that simple.
Longest circle?
Yes.
It's, a couple of years ago, we were at the Houston Livestock Show when everybody, you had like a bunch of people coming in, there's a shooter. And we were right in the middle of the ring, and I mean, everybody scattered. It's a scary situation. I mean, I know y'all, it's no fun. You're thinking of the worst. I mean, I was running out, and Nugget's mother was there, and she was going back for him. I said, I'm not gonna make it anyway because my knees are bad anyway. He's gonna get me anyway, so I went back to get her to find her. So I couldn't have run from it anyway. So, but it's scary.
There is a calendar behind the first page of kind of some upcoming events we kind of outline for November. That's usually a busy, very busy month for us. So you want to look at that, rip that out, take that home with you if you want to do that. That'd be great. So that's some high points on that one. Hard to believe it's close to November.
Yeah.
Can I go back to one thing on that? Can we talk about that survey? The only one, there was one that concerned me too on that survey is that the teachers were talking about certain things like paper or things that they needed in the classroom. I always think it's good that all the teachers are taken care of with the supplies and things like that. That stood out to me on.
I don't know where that came from, because if you go in her office, she's got 25 boxes of paper lined up on one wall, and he's got at least 10 on his wall. So I don't know where that's coming from.
Is
Maybe
that
it
like-
happened just one time, I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I just, that was a concern because we want, the teachers will be taken care of, I know we appreciate it when I was, teaching and all.
Maybe it's just not in the workroom.
Could not have been available at that particular
May have run
time.
out that one day in the workroom. Or
Are
something,
either
you know.
one of y'all short of anything that you know of in your workrooms that you need?
Laminating, more laminate was just a
We don't
word.
even have a laminate.
We went through our roll of laminate in record time.
That just stood out. I just want to make sure.
Let us know, or let somebody know.
We just got all our new paper.
And hopefully through all the communication that we're fixing to try to, that they gotta tell us if they want us to correct it. We can't just guess, and if they'll tell us, we can do some things.
I agree with you.
Item number 6, consideration of canceling December board meeting.
All right, so as y'all know, there's not a whole lot going on in December. What I would like, if you'll turn over the page, the legislative updates, is December the 9th. If you haven't done it before then, we'd like to make that kind of our board meeting. So we'll get you logged on, and you can do it from your house, you don't have to do it up here. So, but we need to get that training done. So
So
however
we
you
will
want,
do it here?
we can if you want to.
6 to 8.
Uh,
It has to
this
be that time?
Yes, this is the Region 6, they're the ones that do that.
We could do it either October.
Yes,
Individually, we can do it the other day.
you can do it any other time, or, you know, because whatever convenience, so if you show the ninth, you're out of town or whatever, then you can do it on the other two, but we need to have one of these done as our legislative update, which is gonna match on your hours on the next page.
So on October 27th, if I went on Zoom 68, I'd be crazy, and I wouldn't have to come, right? Or-
Right, you'd be correct, you'll have to get you logged in, because that's next week,
Okay.
because there's a fee for it.
Well, I'm not telling you I'm gonna do it then. I just wondered, I was just.
So I know you sent us the
I
link,
put
but
these on the
I
last
couldn't
minute,
open it,
so.
and Deidre couldn't open it.
I couldn't open it either.
All right, so let me get with them and see, I'll get Joe on that, and, matter of fact, I'm going to Region 6 on Wednesday, I'll ask him.
I emailed John Conley, and he just said he'd register it on the day that I picked. So I just emailed him and said, could you do that? He said, he got it done for me. I don't know if he's invoiced y'all for it.
All right, that's, they will.
So did you get logged on?
I haven't, no, I couldn't hit, the link didn't work. I just picked one of those dates and told him which one worked for me. And he said he would make sure I was scheduled in it.
Okay.
So you can do it on your own, or you can do it as a group. If you do it as a group, more than 4, we got to have a board meeting, we got to post it. But if you do it at your house, you don't have to do that. So we'll abide by the
Well, we're gonna do
rules.
it, you know, either October or November, but
Right.
as long as it'll come up.
Well, let us know, we'll get that taken care of as quick as we can. We'll all be able to do that. Because I think December 9th, is that a Thursday?
Yeah, that's just something.
It's just getting close to Christmas during that time. But November 30th, that's right after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so I'd like to try to do October 27th.
So this is something everybody has to do, but then the next pages over here, we may have had that already, some of this.
Some of it, but this is the new legislative.
This is the new one, yeah. So
This-
everybody has to have this.
Need to have it out.
And then this next page, then we may have already had some of this.
Yes, that is correct. And then you can log those in on your, what you know you've done. You can log those in. And I think you can look back at are y'all in the Edge Hero? Because I know, who told me that wasn't working? You told me Edge Hero wasn't working.
I tried to search for some of these and that I knew I didn't have, and they didn't come up. I have a username and password because I've done like the sexual abuse and the cybersecurity. But those have all been ones that the district forwarded us and said
Yeah.
we needed to do. So we were registered for that.
Okay.
What happens if I did this over?
I know, it should count.
Okay.
It should count. It's the same course.
Yeah, I've done that. I mean, I had to do all that in August.
I just think we have to be registered for it in order. You can't just log on and find it and take it.
Right.
So let me work on that.
So I need to
I
log
just,
in.
yes. I didn't know it worked like that for y'all. Because usually we go in, set it up, and we hit play, and it's there.
Yeah, Scott will get links.
Okay.
To the-
All right, let me see what I can do on that. We'll see if we can get these links in. All right.
We still need a motion on the December board meeting.
I'll move it.
Motion by Alex, second. Those in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries 7-0. Item number 7, we're going to go to closed session under 551-074 and 076. That's personnel and safety. We move to adjourn. A second. Those in favor, raise your hand. 7-0.
All right, thank you, guys, appreciate it.
Catch some Astros, hopefully they're down.